All right, everybody, welcome. Check it out. My goodies have come in. I've been waiting about a week for them, so I'm excited. Everything came in today. Well, the winch came in today. The mount got in here on Friday. So, anyways, this is what I ended up choosing. I ended up going with the KFI mount. This winch came with its own mount, but I wasn't sure it was gonna fit, and I didn't want to take the chance. Plus, I wanted something that was custom fit for my 2014 Honda Foreman. So that's why I ended up choosing the KFI mount. The part number is 102175, and it works for Honda Rancher Foreman's 2014 of the present. So what came in the box was just pretty much this and some bolts. It didn't come with no sticker, unfortunately. And as far as the winch, this is what I ended up choosing, a Tungsten T4000 pound winch. It came with the synthetic rope. I think it's around 42 feet. I'm not sure. I have to look at the specs. It's supposed to have a wireless remote. This is a wireless remote, so I should be able to work it from far away just in case. And I ended up going with the synthetic rope because I feel that the synthetic rope has a less chance of actually popping, and my four-wheeler don't weigh that much, so I know this should be overkill for me and for my equipment. And it came with a rocker switch for that mounts on the handlebar. And I guess this is the plug for that. We're gonna make sure we dielectric grease everything, but everything should be waterproof. And I was taking a look at this here, and it looks like they did actually seal it there with silicone. So I'm gonna go ahead and trust that everything, including the solenoid, should be waterproof, but still I'm gonna try to mount it on the high end part of the ATV. I don't go deep too often, but I don't want it too low where it's constantly getting hit, because I kind of do get in the water a lot, but not really deep. And it came with the Haas Fair lead. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting this installed, and we'll see right now how it goes. Here we are, just almost taking off the front bumper. I take off part of the skid plate, 4 screws, 2 here, and then 1 and 1. Pulled it back just enough so I can loosen this out. I had to loosen this bolt here, other bolt right there, and then that one right there, and then same thing on the other side. And then these 2 here, I just loosen them. I don't want to try to remove it all. I'm gonna see if I can put it in there just by loosening it, so I can just see if it's gonna fit too while it's in there. So we'll see. And this is the mount here we got, and this mount should somehow install something like that, somehow like this. All right, so now that we've investigated a little bit how we're gonna set this up, I've already went ahead and mounted the winch. Hopefully it wasn't a bad idea. We don't have to unmount it to get it back on there, but it seems like we should be able to put these bolts here up front, and these here seem to attach to the frame. So we'll up to the next part now. All right, so we ended up having to actually take off the winch. Didn't fit in there. We'll leave everything loose till the very end, just in case. Okay. There it is. Gotta make sure it's snug on the outside. The bracket right there. Right there. Hopefully this fits. Yeah, it looks like it fucking fit. Okay. Now we need to get it on there. It's gonna become the tricky part. Okay, we got one on. All right, so I had to loosen the plate one more time, and I actually had to slide this whole thing here forward because it wasn't clearing here. So just so you guys know, you run into the same issue when you do your install. I had to make sure that the winch was slid as much forward as I could before I completely mounted it tightly. All right, now here comes the tricky part. Lifting it. I guess if you have a jack, you could probably use it. It's pretty heavy, so. There we are. Looks like we got one side in. Now let's go get the other side. All right, we got the winch fully mounted now, completely. That's what it looks like. Almost invisible. All right, so now that we got the winch installed completely, at least down there, hardware part, now we're running the rocker switch up here. Already mounted it. Run it down through here. We're gonna make sure we put some dielectric grease on everything, every electronical connection that we do with this winch, and this is what I'm using, Permatex dielectric grease. All right, so we got dielectric grease on the boots now. We've already tightened these up. We're gonna try to run this nicely with some zip ties out here and probably here. You know what? Yeah, it has to be to the frame, not the suspension. So, all right, guys, looks like we're almost done. Let me show y'all what I ended up doing. I ended up running the wiring there on the frame. Wanted to make sure I didn't hit the suspension because I don't want it to end up pulling when it's bouncing. Ran it up here, and I figured this would be a good spot. I don't think anything will be in the way, and I think it'll be protected from the mud coming from the mud flap here. And this is the little wireless device that I set up. I already connected the handlebar mount switch, but I haven't configured that yet, and I'm working on that part next. And this is pretty much the little wireless box. It was a little retarded because it didn't have any way, it actually didn't explain it to you, but I figured this is a positive, so where it jumps here. This is the antenna, and I would imagine this is the switch here. All right, so it got a little dark, but I was able to finish. Just need to put the cover back on, but I just want to show you guys how I ended up running the wires. It's the winch install. Ran it there through the chassis, down there, power, all the way to the back, right there. And then I ended up installing the solenoid here. I wanted to mount it there because it seems like it'd be least protected from the mud coming from the tire and the water probably. And then I ended up mounting the wireless remote here up top, and then the switch for that I ended up jumping it to the auxiliary switch that turns on when the four-wheeler turns on. So that way, if something happens with the winch, something goes haywire, I just turn off the key, and then that's it. The power stops. And we already got the wireless hooked up as well. So let's test it out real quick. Check it out. You got to turn on the key to get this one to work, the switch. Seems to be working fine. Out, in, and then we also got our wireless remote here. I'm not sure how far it can go, but we'll try it out. All right, so that's pretty much it right there. Just gonna put it back together, and that's it. So like I mentioned, I use the auxiliary here to splice it for the switch. That way it turns on when the ATV is on. But what I noticed is that with this switch, since this switch actually gives it power and it's connected directly to the battery, this one, it doesn't actually necessarily have to be on the switch. It will still work. All right, that's it.